Michael Jordan is known as the ultimate competitor, a player who rarely praised opponents or even teammates, but believe it or not, there were a few players who earned his deepest respect. Some pushed him to his limits, some helped him win championships, and one player on this list is so surprising that Jordan once said he would choose him over any player in history to build a team around. Today we're counting down the top 6 players Michael Jordan respected the most. Number 1. Dennis Rodman. Michael Jordan demanded excellence from everyone around him. Teammates, coaches, even opponents knew if they stepped on the floor with him, there were no shortcuts. But among all the players Jordan competed with and played beside, one name earned a unique level of respect from him: Dennis Rodman. What made this respect interesting is that their relationship didn't begin as teammates, it began as a war. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Rodman was a defensive powerhouse for the Detroit Pistons, the team famous for the brutal bad boy style of basketball. Their mission was simple: make life miserable for Michael Jordan. Every time Jordan attacked the basket, Rodman and the Pistons met him with physical defense. Hard hits, tough fouls, constant pressure. Jordan hated those battles, but Rodman never held back. That was the Pistons' identity, and Rodman embraced it completely. But even while battling Jordan, Rodman quietly studied him. He watched how Jordan practiced, how he prepared, how he handled the enormous pressure of being the league's biggest star. What impressed Rodman most was that Jordan never seemed distracted by fame. Despite the spotlight surrounding him, Jordan cared more about the work than the attention. That dedication stayed with Rodman long after their rivalry cooled. Years later, basketball surprised everyone. In 1995, the Chicago Bulls traded for Dennis Rodman. The move shocked the league. Many people wondered how two strong personalities with such a violent history could possibly work together. Jordan had taken countless hits from Rodman during those Piston battles. The tension between their teams had been legendary, but Jordan saw something others didn't. The Bulls had just lost key forward Horace Grant, and they needed someone who could dominate the boards and bring relentless defense. Rodman walked into the Bulls' locker room understanding exactly whose team it was. Jordan set the standard, and those standards weren't negotiable. Rodman accepted that immediately. From the start, Jordan recognized Rodman's value. Reporters constantly questioned whether Rodman's unpredictable lifestyle would disrupt the Bulls. His bright hair colors, piercings, strange outfits, and late-night partying made headlines everywhere. But Jordan wasn't interested in any of that. When asked about Rodman's personality, Jordan gave a simple answer. None of that mattered if Rodman did his job on the court. And Rodman always did. Jordan admired how Rodman chased loose balls like his career depended on it. He fought for rebounds against bigger players and never avoided the dirty work that most stars refused to do. Jordan trusted him in the most intense moments because he knew Rodman's effort never disappeared when the game got tough. What impressed Jordan even more was Rodman's basketball intelligence. Jordan often said Rodman was one of the smartest defensive players he ever played with. Rodman understood timing, positioning, and rotations in ways few players did. He could switch into different players, read developing plays, and anticipate movements before they happened. On defense, Rodman played almost like a coach on the floor. Off the court, their relationship was simple. They didn't spend much time hanging out together. They weren't close friends in the traditional sense. But Rodman respected Jordan's leadership deeply. If Jordan spoke, Rodman listened. He knew Jordan didn't waste words, and when Jordan demanded something, it was for the good of the team. That mutual understanding helped power one of basketball's greatest dynasties. Together with Scottie Pippen, Jordan and Rodman helped lead the Bulls to 3 straight championships from 1996 to 1998. Rodman dominated the glass, handled the toughest defensive assignments, and absorbed physical punishments night after night. Rodman later said proudly that the Bulls likely wouldn't have won those titles without his rebounding and defense. But coming up soon is the teammate who helped Jordan build a dynasty, the quiet star from Arkansas who became the perfect partner to the greatest player in the world. Number 2, Larry Bird. Larry Bird was already one of the NBA's biggest stars when Jordan arrived in the league, yet Jordan always spoke about Bird with admiration because of the way Bird recognized greatness early. Their story actually started before Jordan ever played an NBA game. In 1984, Bird had just finished an incredible season. He had won an NBA championship with the Boston Celtics and claimed the league's MVP award. That summer, he practiced against a group of young college players who were preparing for the Olympic team. One of those players was a skinny, hyper-competitive guard from North Carolina named Michael Jordan. Bird noticed him immediately. Years later, Bird joked about his first impression of Jordan. The best way he could describe the young player was simple: shoot, 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 shoot. Jordan wanted the ball every time and attacked the game like scoring was the only thing on his mind. Bird could already see the athletic ability. Jordan could jump, pass, and move in ways that stood out right away. At that moment, Bird didn't yet predict Jordan would become the greatest player ever, but he knew the kid had serious talent. A few months later, Jordan entered the NBA as a rookie with the Chicago Bulls, and the first real test came against Bird's Celtics. Jordan was only 21 years old when he faced Boston for the first time. He scored 27 points that night, which was solid but not historic. Still, Bird saw something others didn't. After the game, he told reporters that Jordan was going to become the best player of all time. That was a bold statement coming from Bird, especially since he himself was dominating the league and winning MVP awards. And Bird didn't stop there. In 1985, when someone asked Bird who the best player in the NBA was, his answer surprised many people. Without hesitation, Bird said it was Michael Jordan. At that time, Jordan had not yet won a championship, but Bird believed his talent was already unmatched. Then came the game that made everyone else start paying attention. During the 1986 playoffs, the Chicago Bulls faced the powerful Boston Celtics in the first round. Chicago was heavily outmatched, but Jordan produced one of the most unbelievable performances in basketball history. In Game 2, he exploded for 63 points against Boston. It remains the highest scoring playoff game ever, even though the Celtics eventually won the game 135-131. After 2 overtimes, Jordan's performance stunned everyone in the building. After the game, Bird delivered the quote that would live forever. He said the Celtics had just played against God disguised as Michael Jordan. That line instantly became legendary. Jordan later admitted that Bird's words meant a lot to him. At that point in his career, some people still saw him as just a flashy young scorer. When someone as respected as Larry Bird praised him like that, the entire basketball world started viewing him differently. Bird continued praising Jordan throughout the years. He often explained what made Jordan unique. According to Bird, Jordan could do everything. He could attack from either side, leap over defenders, defend multiple positions, block shots, and dominate mentally as well as physically. Later in life, when Bird spoke during an NBA event honoring the league's top 75 players, he summed up his opinion in a simple sentence. Jordan, he said, was better than all of them. Number 3. Magic Johnson. Michael Jordan built his reputation against the best, and few rivals earned more respect from him than Magic Johnson. When Jordan entered the NBA in 1984, Magic was already a superstar leading the Lakers. Jordan admired how Magic controlled games and led his team, studying his leadership and competitive mindset closely. Their relationship truly took shape during the 1991 NBA Finals. By that time, Jordan had pushed the Chicago Bulls to the top of the Eastern Conference. Standing in his way was Magic Johnson's Los Angeles Lakers, a team filled with championship experience, confidence, and the leadership of one of the greatest point guards ever. The 1991 NBA Finals felt like more than just another championship series. It felt like a moment where 2 generations of basketball greatness were meeting face to face. Magic had spent the 1980s helping define the league. With his fast break style, dazzling passes, and infectious personality, he had turned the Lakers into a global attraction. But now Jordan and the Bulls were rising, hungry to take the next step. During that series, one play stood out above everything else. Jordan drove into the lane, jumped toward the basket, and switched the ball from his right hand to his left while floating through the air before finishing the layup. It looked almost unreal in real time, like he had paused in midair while the defense flew past him. The move instantly became one of the most iconic plays in NBA Finals history. Magic later admitted that moment stayed in his mind. Watching Jordan glide through the defense, he realized something important. The league was changing right in front of him, and the player leading the change was wearing number 23. The Bulls went on to win the series, earning Jordan his first championship and officially launching the Chicago dynasty that would dominate the 1990s. Even in defeat, Magic handled the moment with respect and grace. He congratulated Jordan and acknowledged that the Bulls had earned their breakthrough. Jordan noticed that. For him, it showed the kind of leadership and character that made Magic such an important figure in the game. Years later, Jordan would reveal something that surprised many fans. In the 2022 documentary, They Call Me Magic, Jordan said that people often credit him for transforming the NBA's popularity, but in his eyes, the real turning point came earlier. According to Jordan, the league truly changed when Magic Johnson arrived. He explained that when Magic came into the NBA, the entire style and energy of the game shifted. Magic's Showtime Lakers, along with the rivalry between Magic and Larry Bird, helped push the league into mainstream attention. Their battles, their personalities, and their competitiveness helped to revive the NBA during a time when it needed new excitement. When Magic heard Jordan say that, he was genuinely emotional. He admitted that hearing those words from Jordan meant a lot, especially because Jordan rarely talks about himself or others in that way. Magic said he was laughing and almost crying at the same time while watching the moment in the documentary. For him, hearing the greatest player ever say that he helped change the league was incredibly powerful. Their connection didn't end when the game was over. After stepping away from basketball in the early 1990s, Magic often spoke publicly about Jordan's greatness. He called Jordan the best player he ever saw, and sometimes went even further, saying Jordan might be the greatest athlete in any sport. Hearing that kind of praise from a superstar who had dominated the previous decade meant a lot. Jordan returned the respect. Whenever Jordan talked about Magic, his tone changed. He often mentioned how much he learned from watching Magic's leadership. Magic had shown him how to guide teammates, how to stay calm under constant pressure, and how to embrace the responsibility that comes with being the face of the league. Number 4. Scottie Pippen. When Pippen arrived in Chicago in 1987, Jordan was already becoming the face of the NBA. He was a global star, carrying the Bulls franchise and dominating headlines. Pippen came from a very different background, growing up in a small town in Arkansas, and entering the league as a quiet, raw talent. From the beginning, their words were different, but once the game started, the connection was undeniable. Together, Jordan and Pippen built something special. Throughout the 1990s, they led the Bulls to 6 NBA championships and completed 2 separate three-peats. That level of success requires more than talent. It requires trust, communication, and a shared hunger to win. On the court, Jordan respected Pippen's versatility, defense, and ability to impact every part of the game. Pippen, in return, accepted Jordan's role as the leader and the main star. Interestingly, their relationship away from basketball was never particularly close. Over the years, Pippen has openly said that he and Jordan were not best friends. They didn't spend much time together outside the arena. To him, their connection was mostly professional, yet Pippen has also made it clear that when he stepped onto the floor, everything worked perfectly. He once described their relationship between the lines as nearly flawless. They pushed each other, competed every day in practice, and understood exactly what it took to win. Years later, their story became more complicated. In 2020, the documentary The Last Dance revisited the Bulls dynasty and placed much of the spotlight on Jordan. Pippen later said he felt the film didn't give enough credit to the rest of the team. In his memoir, Unguarded, he also shared frustrations about Jordan's personality and leadership style, calling him difficult at times. Despite those criticisms, Pippen never questioned Jordan's greatness as a player. Former teammates have also offered a different perspective on their relationship. Players like Randy Brown and Stacey King have said that the two were closer than people think, pointing out that winning championships usually requires strong personal bonds within a team. The story even gained another unexpected twist years after when Pippen's ex-wife Larsa began dating Jordan's son Marcus, creating headlines that added even more attention to their already complicated history. Still, moments of respect remained part of their legacy. In 2010, when Pippen was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, he chose Michael Jordan to present him. That decision said a lot. No matter how complicated their relationship became, both men understood something important. Their partnership changed basketball forever. Number 5. Allen Iverson. Michael Jordan did not hand out respect easily. Players had to earn it through toughness, confidence, and the ability to compete under pressure. One of the young stars who managed to gain that respect was Allen Iverson. When Iverson entered the NBA in 1996 as the #1 overall pick, he arrived with fearless energy. The Philadelphia 76ers had drafted a lightning-fast guard who attacked the game with pure confidence. But stepping into the league meant facing the greatest player in basketball, Michael Jordan. Jordan had already built a legendary reputation. By that time, he had won 4 championships and dominated the sport for years. For Iverson, seeing Jordan up close was surreal. Even today, Iverson admits that the feeling never completely went away. He's often joked that he still gets starstruck whenever he sees Jordan. Friends sometimes tell him to relax because he's a basketball icon himself. Iverson's response is always the same. It's not the same. To him, Jordan almost feels unreal, like someone surrounded by a special aura. That admiration didn't start in the NBA. It began long before Iverson ever played a professional game. As a kid growing up, Iverson watched Jordan constantly. The famous idea of "be like Mike" wasn't just a marketing slogan to him. It was a real inspiration. Jordan gave Iverson the vision of what basketball greatness looks like. Watching him dominate the league made young Iverson believe that he could chase the same dream. But once Iverson stepped onto an NBA court, admiration had to be hidden behind competition. During his rookie season, Iverson made a comment that caused tension. He said he didn't respect anyone on the court. What he meant was that he wasn't intimidated by veterans. In his mind, respect meant playing without fear. But the comment reached Jordan, and he didn't take it lightly. Jordan responded directly. He said if Iverson wanted to become a champion, he would have to learn to respect the players who had already been there. The media quickly turned the exchange into a bigger story. Iverson later said that moment started shaping the public perception that he was disrespectful, something he always felt was misunderstood. Because the truth was very different. Iverson had enormous respect for Jordan. He just refused to show hesitation during a game. When the ball was tipped, the only thing that mattered was competing. That competitive moment produced one of the most famous plays of Iverson's career. In 1997, during a game against the Chicago Bulls, Iverson crossed Jordan over with a quick dribble move and knocked down a jump shot. The highlight instantly became legendary. Many fans saw it as a symbolic moment where the new generation challenged the old one, but Iverson never viewed it that way. For him, it was simply the chance to test himself against the greatest player alive. Facing Jordan meant measuring himself against the highest possible standard. Over time, Jordan came to respect Iverson's fearless attitude and skill. Iverson wasn't trying to imitate Jordan's exact style, but he carried the same scoring mentality and competitive fire. That approach helped him build an incredible career of his own. Iverson became an 11-time All-Star, won the 2001 MVP award, and led the NBA in scoring 4 times. His fearless play and cultural impact made him one of the most influential players of his era. Yet whenever Iverson talks about basketball greatness, he always returns to one name: Michael Jordan. Iverson has said many times that in his eyes, Jordan will always be the greatest player ever. 6 championships, 5 MVP awards, elite defense, and unmatched dominance, nothing changes his opinion. Number 6. Hakeem Olajuwon. Finally, Jordan admired many legends, but he once admitted that if he could pick any player in history to start a team with, he would choose Olajuwon. Their connection goes all the way back to the famous 1984 NBA draft. Olajuwon was selected first overall by the Houston Rockets, while Jordan went third to the Chicago Bulls. That draft class would go on to shape the entire decade of the 1990s. Interestingly, basketball history almost took a completely different path. There was once a possible trade scenario that could have sent Clyde Drexler and the second pick in the draft to Houston. If that deal had happened, the Rockets might have ended up drafting Jordan and pairing him with Olajuwon and Drexler. The idea of those 3 superstars playing together sounds unbelievable today. Some even believe that trio could have dominated the NBA for a decade. Instead, Jordan and Olajuwon became rivals. Even though they played in opposite conferences and never met in the NBA Finals, their teams still defined the era. The Chicago Bulls won 6 championships in the 1990s. When the Houston Rockets captured 2 titles during Jordan's brief retirement in 1994 and 1995. What stood out most to Olajuwon was how Jordan handled that situation. Some fans claimed Houston only won because Jordan stepped away from basketball. But according to Olajuwon, Jordan never used that excuse. He always gave the Rockets full respect for their championships, something Olajuwon deeply appreciated. Olajuwon respected Jordan just as much. Known for carefully studying opponents, Olajuwon spent years analyzing the strengths and weaknesses of elite players. Against most stars, he could eventually find something to exploit. But when he looked at Jordan's game, he struggled to find any real flaw. In his autobiography, Living the Dream, Olajuwon wrote that Jordan was strong in every part of basketball. If defenders backed away, he would shoot. If they pressured him, he would attack the rim. Olajuwon once said that when Jordan missed a shot, it was only because he was human. He also explained why Jordan was such a nightmare matchup. At 6'6", Jordan had the size of a forward but the skill set of a guard. That rare combination made him extremely difficult to defend. Olajuwon even joked that when you shook Jordan's hand, it felt like the grip of a big man, because of how large and powerful his hands were. For two legends who rarely crossed paths in the biggest games, their mutual respect became one of the quiet stories of NBA history. And that's our list of the top players Michael Jordan respected the most. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments if there's a player you think should have been on this list. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.